This is trippy. I'm parking the car. My name is Driver Dan. It's November 24th, 2022. I was just getting ready to drive by the homeless encampment over here on Jefferson Boulevard in Marina Del Rey, California. And I kid you not, there's a guy riding up from the beach along this way with a horse, and he's got another horse in tow. And it's kind of trippy. I'm like, I want to get out of his way, but I think he can ride around me, but I'm going to back up. I don't want to hit these cones. These cones, I'm kind of in the way, so I'm going to pull over this way. I'll get out of the way for him so he can just ride straight on through. Anyway, I'm doing my Thanksgiving Day, starting my YouTube channel, and this is kind of an interesting thing. Let me just take this. I'll park the car, and you can see this guy riding up. Isn't that funny? I think you can see him. Yeah, there he is. Can't zoom in, but he's riding up. This is kind of a funny little sight here in Marina Del Rey, California. I think this guy was on the news. I think I saw something about him. Isn't that neat? He's on his phone. And the other horse is saddled. Maybe he lost another rider. Well, this is just how surprising YouTube can be. Trippy. There he is. I'm so lonesome I could die. All right, well, that was quite a sight. I wanted to drive by the homeless encampment and kind of start my video with that to say I have so much to be thankful for, but I'll just go from here. This is the deal. I started watching YouTubes when they started years ago, and I was like, this is amazing. I love the individuality with which you could choose your programming. And I was like, this is awesome. So then there was a thing where they offered it, you could pay to have no commercials, and I did that. The best thing I ever did my whole life, because the train of thought with people who are doing videos, if you break it into commercials and stuff and all that, it's a nightmare. You can't really, especially if you're trying to learn something. So I'm so glad I did it. So I want to urge everyone to pay for the no commercials. Don't worry about watching cable TV and entertaining things anymore. You can find everything you want on YouTube. Yes, I'm a shill for YouTube. But it's really helped my whole life, because let me tell you why. All right, so at first I started watching Joe Robinet. He's a camping guy up in Canada, a young guy, and you just feel like you're his friend, like you're going on a camp out with him. Of course, every camp out he usually would bring his dog, and then you'd like cook a good meal and a steak, and when he'd cut the steak and eat it, you'd be like, oh man, because you'd always go, oh, that's so good. And you were into it, you know. Now, of course, I started watching Van City Van Life with Chrome and his dog, and all the camper van people, and of course I'm in my camper van. Now my camper van's not really finished. It's kind of messy. I was going to go out and do a whole setup to start my YouTube with crypto charts and all this stuff, and I'm like, I give up. I'm just not going to even worry about trying to do anything fancy. Just simple. Tell you guys how amazing YouTube is and how good it's been to me. So I watched Joe Robinet, then Van City Van Life. I'd be sitting on jobs as a chauffeur and just waiting around. And then I worked at a limo company, and when I stopped working there, I went to go work privately for someone, and the owner had just passed away from cancer. I'd worked there only 4 years, but when I was working there, he started a 401k for me with a profit sharing plan. I never put a penny into from my paycheck. But that guy, John, I won't say his whole name, I won't say the company, I don't know if they'd want me saying their stuff, but he was one of the good guys in the industry. He started a 401k plan, insurance for his drivers. He was a driver's owner. He was really good to his guys, you know? And I worked there only 4 years, but he had started up 401k for me. And when he died of cancer,
years went by, and I always say, I got that 401k money. And then I heard about the economy, fiat currencies and all these things that were going on where the economy could crash again, like after 2008. And I was like, wow, I would never want that money that John gave me from profit sharing from those 4 years I worked there to be squandered and lost in a stock market crash, and then take so many years to build back to the original dollar amount, but of course be less than what it really was when it all crashed, in terms of how money, all the stuff with the devaluing of the dollar. So I started looking on YouTubes and watching things, thinking I was gonna, I'll go claim my 401k, then I'll put it into gold. I'll buy gold. So I talked to some person downtown when I was at a jewelry place, and they had coins and stuff, and I was like, I bought a little silver some years before because I was watching prepping videos too. And that's another one you can go down the rabbit hole. Of course, Alex Jones and all that stuff, So then I was like, okay, gold wasn't really the answer. People were talking about Bitcoin. So I got into the whole Bitcoin thing. And also I read some books about investing and self-directing, and you're setting up like a, self-directed IRA. And there's iTrust Capital, and there's another one that I use in Arizona and Phoenix, directed trust and directed IRA. And I was like, okay. So I set up a crypto IRA, Roth. And so I started trading in there, and I set up a Voyager account, which was an exchange that was working at the time. And this other one, crypto.com, Crow and all that. So I was doing those. And then it was around summer of 2021. So we had a nice pump going on, it was bull market. And I thought I was smart. All my money's, making money. And I was like, doing moves and watching a lot of YouTube crypto people. And I was like, wow, man, there's really a community on here. Not realizing some of them are shills and just trying to, get commissions for talking about certain coins and stuff. But you pick up on that, sort of like, I just don't trust that guy. I'm not worried about watching him. And that guy I trust, and he's telling us, careful about that other guy. So that kind of stuff was going on. Anyway, the whole point is I've been for about a year and a half now watching YouTube videos on crypto, doing some investing in it and losing some money and learning some valuable lessons from some of the guys who are multimillionaires. They have YouTube channels. They're influencers. They shill a little for Bybit and leverage trading, so that's not the most recommended thing by anyone who's super just. But the deal is, I've learned so much from guys who are multi-millionaires. One guy, meet Kevin Paffrath. He real estate up in Ventura. He owned properties. He'd been buying stuff since he was in college with his girlfriend. He got married, has kids. Worth about 40 million when he was when crypto was like, okay, November, December, January, oh boy, people were going like, hey, listen, it's gonna go to 100,000. Everyone's pumped up. He's like, no. So I got on one night. I was just watching him when I was kind of going to bed. Like, let me see what Kev's saying. So, he just sold everything. He said he lost $10 million of his 40 million. He's down to 30. He's preserving his capital so he can go back in on the bear market. He's saying it's going to be a bear market. So I'm like, oh, wow. So let me see what Alexander Lorenzo's saying. So I went over to Alexander. And Alex said he just sold everything. So two guys who were really smart guys, multi-millionaires, and they both sold. So I was like, wow. I had lost some money. I had built it up, doubled my money, done some stuff, but I was like, that's it. I was going to go to bed. I was tired. I had to get up early in the morning and work, but I was like, nope. I just sold everything off of the Voyager, everything off of crypto.com, just turned it all into cash, US dollars or USDC or whatever I could, just get it out of crypto. Then I went on my Roth and sold everything, just turned it to cash. So I kind of felt like, God, I'm just giving up. And, but I didn't know, but I knew those guys were smart. So I did what they did. I said, I'm going to follow suit here. So I'm really glad I did, because I preserved what capital I had left. And sometimes you just go, hey, something? If you bought up here, you thought it was going to go up here, and then it went down to here, and you sold here, and you're thinking you lost because you bought up here. No, you preserved 3/4 of your capital, so when it goes down here, you can buy a lot more and then catch up in the bear market. And that's blah blah blah, a lot of that stuff. So, oh man, there's so many cool people like Alexander Lorenzo who tells the truth. Like Alexander Lorenzo, for instance, he does a whole thing about fundamental truths, or fundamental like analysis of how the world works. So he tells you, listen, if you guys like go in there and you do that, you're just being exit liquidity, you dopes, you know. And he explains why. So that guy, I'm so thankful for him. And I want to thank there's an elderly gentleman I watch. His name is on YouTube. His name is Rusty78609, and Rusty during the pandemic really kept me out of deep depression, because I'd go in and watch him, and in a way I guess he's everybody's brother, father, uncle, grandfather, dad, whoever he is for you. He's just a common sense good man who's lived a full life. He's in his later 70s now, and he gives great little basic, hey, listen, get up, go for a walk every day, stretch, you know, stand guard at the door of your mind. Don't let negative Nancy, negative Ned in, and stuff like that. And, you know, during the pandemic, a lot of stuff was going on, a lot of that conspiracy stuff, you know, tinfoil hat wearing, anger stuff, and political unrest and riots and all this stuff. And you get really nasty and negative and angry. And that guy just kind of put it in perspective, like, stay calm. Got food on your table, roof over your head, get up and go for walks, and try to think positive and stay in the positive place. So I want to thank him, because boy, man, I watch him every day. I watch Rusty. He's on every day, and he's kind of who got me to think I'm gonna get back into doing a social media thing. Like I was doing Periscope a long time ago, and now I'm like, no, I'm gonna do YouTube, because honestly, it's because I want to become an influencer, of a voice of calm reason in the YouTube community, and I guess tell people the truth without beating them over the head or being too heavy-handed with it. And I like all kinds of other subjects too. You know, I love camping and camper vanning and stuff. And I'm kind of wacky because I I really believe now, because I watch another guy named Steve Isdall. I totally believe, yes, there are beings who live in the forest, and they call them Bigfoot or Sasquatch, and I'm like completely convinced, yes, they exist. They exist, and there's too many people who have eyewitness accounts about it. So I'm like, thank you, Steve Isdall from How to Hunt. This guy's a hunting guide, and he just was telling hunting stories on YouTube, and people kept asking him about, hey, Steve, you ever see anything like when you're out there, you know? And finally he broke down one day, and he opened up and said, you know, he has like hunting apps. He really was selling his guide business, his hunting guide business on YouTube, and his apps. And one day he goes, well, I'll tell you. And he told a story from his youth, and then told a story about his grandfather, who was a genuine Canadian paratrooper, war hero, very trustworthy man. Wouldn't tell stories, but he told a story. After the war, he came back, and he was working as a tree surveyor up in the Canadian wilderness for the government, and he would go out surveying trees, you know, counting, I guess, the different types of trees and everything, and keeping it all logbook. And one day when he was walking back to the truck, he was stepping down into a creek to then cross the creek, a small creek, and then get across it and climb back up. Well, when he got to the bottom of the creek, he just happened to look over, and there was a giant, tall, hairy man standing about 50 yards down that way, or 100 yards. That thing looked at him, and what took him 7 or 8 steps to get it down into that ravine where the creek was, took this thing one bound, boom, and he was gone. And he was like, whoa. So he told Steve that story, I think on Canadian Thanksgiving, when everyone was in the other room, and Steve had a book, it was like a Believe It or Not book, and had a Bigfoot on the front of it. And he goes, you believe in that? And he goes, well, yeah, sort of, Grandpa. And he goes, well, and he looked to make sure no one could hear him. He goes, well, if you believe in that, I'll tell you a story. And he told him. And when Steve got to be about 30 something, 30, 35, he'd been a hunting guide for a while. He said to himself, I'm going to go up. There's so many stories around here, I hear. He had a couple things that had happened, but he just thought, let me see if I can go up there and kind of find the Bigfoot. He went to a certain valley. He sat up on a high area on one side. He put his rifle away from him because he didn't want to put out any kind of hunting vibe. He was there just to observe. Had his field glasses out, and he was kind of checking. And across the field, across this little valley, in the trees over there, a good distance away, something let out a scream. Like, he said he almost, lost it. Like, went to the bathroom, and he was terrified. He got his stuff together, grabbed his rifle, and walked back to his truck and didn't go back there for a while. So here we are, 16 minutes in, and I'm telling you all these weird stories already. But I'm just so thankful that YouTube has the no commercial thing. And I want to tell you, do the no commercial thing because it's so worth it. Now, Twitter now has been bought by Elon Musk, and there's going to be probably some long form video offerings on there, which may not have some of the limitations that you have on YouTube. But YouTube has done a huge service to humanity and to my little life. So I want to thank YouTube, and I'll continue to pay for the no commercials because a lot of the crypto community is on YouTube and Twitter. And you look at their Twitter to get hints what's going on. You go check a long form video on YouTube, and I'm sure a lot of them are going to pop over to Twitter and do long form when that comes out there. Not to be like anti-YouTube as much as there's a little more freedom of speech, it looks like, unfolding over there. So they'll be more fluid with their video outputs and all their communications with their subscribers. And I may do that too, But right now I'm just a wacky guy in my little camper van on Thanksgiving Day 2022, and I'm just starting out here, getting on YouTube, want to do good things. And I want to be an influencer. To be honest with you, I learned from Rusty. He's got his Amazon affiliate link, and he makes whatever, a teeny little bit of a percentage of a penny on each sale per dollar or something. And but he always goes, hey, use the link. Doesn't cost you a penny more. And it helps me out, And so I thought, I'm watching like these really smart guys explain things, and some women like Maria Monetize. She's a sharp crypto person and explains a lot too. And she just recently said, no, it's FTX, all this stuff that's going on with the news within the financial crypto markets, So there's always stuff going on. There's always some sort of catalyst. And there's, oh God, I'm just keep on talking about these people I so appreciate. Crypto Crew University, Steve, what a good guy, man. Comes from humble beginnings, and has built quite a nice following in his YouTube channel, and trying to raise the knowledge base of crypto investment and crypto gambling, I guess. But he's a decent man. So there's a lot of good people. There's some shilly people that you hear about who you just go, I can avoid that guy. Crypto Banter, Sheldino, great guy. Rand Nooner, very clear on narratives, has a really good educated financial background. Between the two of them and their other guys, they've got several other people who do some of their shows as well. And that's when I can catch a lot of news on them. Anyway, there's always timely information, timely events that are occurring in all financial markets, in the general economy. And I was really angry some years ago about political things and feeling disempowered. So finally, really honestly, from the fact that a nice guy set me up with a 401k, and he was tragically taken from this world from lung cancer. Like, totally wouldn't have, he's so healthy and great guy. And that search to figure out how not to let that money he'd set up for me in that 401k, I didn't want that to be lost and squandered. I felt, out of the love and respect I have for that guy, I wanted to preserve that little bit of money and make it grow a little bit for my retirement. So I guess selfishly, but really just because I was motivated. I said, I cannot lose that money. I've got to be smart now. I've got to start learning. And YouTube has given me, it's like a university. Oh, and then I got to mention Jason and Michael Pizzino, the brothers from Australia, who both have YouTube channels. I paid for Jason's course. I'm going to start doing his course, and he didn't charge a lot for it. And they do a thing that's really kind of smart. They're grabbing the in-between. They're not trying to worry about grabbing low and selling perfectly high. They grab the in-between, I guess, trade the range type thing, using the Gann indicator and another one. And anyway, I've got to start doing all the study on that. So I'll be sharing that. I just want to share all this YouTube inspiration. You know, you can find out about anything. You know, I've always been into, like, of course, Bigfoot, ghosts, any other paranormal stuff. It's so interesting to me, the quirky things of life, but also futurist, like the things that are occurring in technology, disruptive technology that are changing the world, like crypto, but also, you know, the solar cells are improving, battery technology. They've got dry batteries now. You know, you've all these different things that they're discovering in science and then using, and people are developing. It's so inspiring. I just love watching YouTube, and I want to turn you all onto it and pay for the no commercials. It's worth it. And then you can just have train of thought right through a through line in anything you're watching, but especially if there's anything you want to learn about and educate yourself. It's a great doorway to open up your future in some other subjects or areas that you're interested in. So I just want to recommend that. And then it's 20 minutes now, so I'm going to end the video, and I'm going to slowly, you'll see this little van evolve into something of a studio, because I'm pretty much in it or near it most of the time. So I'm going to use this for camping, for little YouTube videos, and share any crypto stuff that I can share and be helpful, and then be, what is it called, an influencer. So then, of course, I can have some little recommendation things, but I won't shill a bunch of junk to you, you know, just the good stuff, you know, the few good things out there. All right, so that's it. I'll let you all go. Have a great day. Happy Thanksgiving 2022. Wow. We'll see where we go from here. All right. God bless. Talk to you later.